morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, it is going. What were we saying then? What's this?
We've got an
beautiful
EP91,
little thing.
Yeah, we've got an EP91 Starlet Glanza V for Standalone install.
Nice.
Yeah.
What standalone?
So it's currently on the stock ECU with the Greddy E-Manage piggyback.
Yep.
We're now moving to a Motorsport Electronics ME442.
Nice.
So we've gone for the 442 because it's got built-in wideband. This currently runs an AM controller, which, to be fair, this one actually seems to work all right. But I was saying to the owner, Ashley, that we've had quite a lot of issues with AEM, so our way of thinking would be to move straight to a 442 just to prevent said issues.
Yep.
Obviously ECU's got CAN bus, so you can run race dash in the future, whatever you want to do. So in the car currently we've got a Greddy Profec boost controller. To be fair, and this is probably just through my ignorance because I'm not familiar with the E-Manage because it is quite an old system. I think the E-Manage kind of goes through that potentially, I need to check all the wiring out, but there's the controller, but then there is something going in the ECU for boost. So I think the controller's kind of working in tandem with it. But obviously we're going to take all that out.
Yep.
And we're going to go fully ECU control boost. Did see Ashley yesterday and we've said about switchable maps, so it's not something you do like today with the install because we haven't got any switch gear that we need to do it. But we are going to put provisions in place to do that kind of later on.
Okay.
So that's all absolutely fine. I've already started taking this apart actually yesterday, and then there was kind of a mishap where the wrong board was sent to us, so that's why I haven't done much more. But yeah, basically I'm just going to dig in, get the ECU out, swap the board over.
Because the ECU goes in the original case.
Looks like that.
Yeah.
So it's basically, I mean, link ECU's the same, or their plug and play stuff is the same, and if it drops in the original casing. Obviously you've got to make some provisions for USB and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the plan. We'll get this in, get all the wideband run, sort out boost control, and then
send it.
Well,
Send it.
the pre-sending, sending it, yeah.
Oh.
So base map it and scale injectors, which I've still got to work out what they are because no one knows what they are.
Okay, what we're going to do, pull one out and have a look at the part number? Or?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm going to try and see if I can find a part number in situ just to save ripping the rail out, but yeah, no one can tell me what injectors it's got, so I need to check that out just so I can scale them correctly.
It's kind of handy to know.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's fine. It's one of them. It's on a race. Is it Race Tech manifold? I think.
Yeah.
TD04, Intercooler, all the normal sort of mods, exhaust system. So yeah, see what we can do.
A few moments later.
Hello.
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 How's it going?
I'm alright. How are you?
Yeah, I'm warm.
It is clam.
It's humid.
Yeah, it's got humid. And for anyone complaining about us complaining, do it in the comments. It's warm.
It's warm.
So why are you holding
Dizzy.
things and stuff and in front of a toolbox?
So basically, I just wanted to recap a little over where we were because we're now actually in the next week. So there was a load of work to do, ran some issues, but I'm trying to put this video together a little because the Starlet community don't really use Motorsport Electronics ECUs. There's also, I don't think, enough information about them. There was one issue I had, which was actually to do with a mistake in the manual, which I've now actually corrected with them. But obviously as a dealer and a certified tuning partner, I've said, well, I'll do a video on the car and go a little bit more in depth so that people can see exactly what's required before buying this ECU. Obviously, if you buy it from us and you want us to do the install, we will do the install and then tune. But basically where we left off last time, I had a very bad knee and I was in the footwell getting out all the Greddy E-Manage. I then had to mess around with the harness loads because obviously the original harness in the car had been cut, a few wires spliced in, quite a few wires spliced in, so I've now sorted all of that. I've got the board mounted in the case, the casing is now back in the car, and we're now on to modifying the Dizzy, which the long and short of it is you basically take this apart and you have to shave two teeth off the trigger wheel, 180 degrees apart from each other, which will, there's a 24 teeth on the wheel. So if you take 2 off, that leaves you 22. So either side you will have 11 teeth, then with a gap either end. If you get it wrong, it will not run. But you have to do that to run the 12-1 trigger pattern on this ECU. What I'm gonna do is put some pictures up, obviously, of what the trigger wheel looks like before you modify it and then what it should look like afterwards, because trying to film it like this is not gonna be easy. But effectively, once I've taken this apart, shaved the teeth off, put the rotor arm back on, cap back on, got it back in the car, we should be at a point where I can scope it through the ECU just to check the trigger pattern that I'm getting is correct. Then we should be able to try and fire it.
Awesome. So you're now going to do some dentistry.
A little bit of dentistry. I'm going to give it summer teeth.
Summer teeth, and then send it back in and hopefully be a runner.
Yeah, I mean the only other thing we've got, I mean the wideband's installed. Obviously it's a 442, so it's onboard wideband. The only other thing I need to do is wire and boost control because it runs a Greddy Profec boost controller, which obviously we're not going to need because we're going to run ECU control boost. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to do a high and low power map, which obviously will be switchable, which we're going to set provisions for and do that later on, just because we weren't made aware of it until
the day.
Well, yeah, pretty much until the day. So I haven't ordered any switch gear or anything, so I'll sort that later for him. But yeah, so we're going to send this and see what happens.
Perfecto. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Warm, but I'm still above a retarder, so
You've got a warm breeze off the shorts.
the warm air is elevating to the plums. But other than that, yeah, good mate. You?
Which are already probably moist with sweat.
They're more like raisins at this point.
No, I'm good, mate. I've been battling a Starlet all afternoon. So
Awesome. So
fantastic.
we have just discussed what we've done on this already, filming wise, and I don't think either of us can remember. So we're doing recap.
Yes.
Yep.
So basically, we're going to end up doing this as a 2-part video. Basically, because we've been given a deadline and we have kind of run out of time. So basically, what we've done is we've disconnected so this has got a Greddy Profec boost controller, actually a newer, nicer one, which is lovely. So obviously, we were moving away from that and going ECU control boost because there really is no reason not to, because we can still have provisions for high and low boost maps, obviously using the ECU. So all I've done is I've disconnected the solenoid from the Profec controller just so it can't engage or be used. I've set up at gate pressure, which is 0.45 bar trailing off to 0.4 of a bar. If you look in the graph at about 6,200 RPM, there's a bit of a horrible dip. That is a dip in the boost curve. I've tried everything to get around it, can't get around it. So
need to add boost to compensate.
Yeah, we need to add boost, but that's fine. So the long and short of where we are, I mean, obviously we've been working very closely with Motorsport Electronics on this one, just because the biggest market they cater to realistically is the MX-5 market. I'll be honest, it does show with, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all, because I love dealing with the guys there, but it does show when it comes to MX-5 issues compared to other platform issues. I mean, we've had, I know Matt, who owns ME, has done quite a few Starlets, to be fair. There has been some issues, has been some head scratching. Obviously, we had a little issue with the trigger wheel, which earlier in the video, obviously I had to do a bit of dentistry to shave a couple of teeth off to change the trigger pattern, and obviously change the crank or ignition angle offset, or trigger angle offset, should I say. That was actually one problem we faced, is the angle offset with the calculations made should be 315 degrees. It's actually not, it's 385. Or on this particular car, it's 385. But yeah, it's obviously we're working closely together to try and obviously get more people using their ECUs on other platforms. Obviously the hardest thing obviously with development is things do take a bit longer.
Yeah.
But obviously it kind of is what it is really at this point. But basically we've been sort of locked into setup today, or this afternoon, just to get it dialed in as much as we can before Ashley takes it. Obviously, I want to say a big thank you to Ashley, because as far as customers go, he has been a diamond.
Yeah, very understanding.
Yeah, I mean, we're bogged down with work, as we have been for quite a long time. And when you have jobs like this that take quite a bit more than you anticipate, it does become a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
But so I just want to say a very big thank you to Ashley for A, the understanding, B, just being a decent guy, and C, kind of bearing with us and actively working with us to get this sorted. But yeah, I don't really know what else I want to say on this one.
So, well, the long and short is the deadline is because this is going to have a bit of paint, isn't it?
Work, yeah.
So we've got to send it away with no boost control and just actuator pressure, so it's safe.
Wastegate pressure.
Wastegate pressure, sorry, wastegate pressure, so it's safe. And then we will have it back to
so that's going to be our
finish her off.
Yeah, that's going to be our part 2. So we're going to have switch gear, effectively to do a switchable map. To be honest, we are debating which way we're going to do it, and we'll cover that in the next video. But it's either going to be a multiplexer switch to the ECU to basically just effectively all it's doing is going to be switching the solenoid off, because of the way the ECU is laid out, which is boost pressure versus RPM. All you effectively need to do is turn the solenoid on or off, because obviously the maps that we're doing will either be wastegate pressure or full boost with duty applied. So we could just do it the old school way, and obviously when we wire in his solenoid, because obviously we've got to run our own lines for it, we can just tee into one with a switch, and that's that. So again, that would be quite a simple thing, but the plan is once it comes back from paint, get it in, do that, get it back on the dyno, finish the tune on high boost, on low boost. So gate pressure, we're running 0.45 bar down to 0.4 bar. It's TD04 of some description. I'll be honest, I can't be too forthcoming with the details on this because I don't really know them. Like, I know it's got a TD04. No one can tell me what size injectors. That a lot of it is quite a mystery because the car's been built for a number of years, been mapped by a few different people. It was on a Greddy E-Manage before, which obviously I've taken out and put all the harness back together. Currently at 173 horsepower and 201 newton meters, which, to be fair, for a little 1.3 turbo that is a P-Reg is 96, so it's what, a million years old.
Yeah, nearly 30 years old.
Yeah, nearly 30 years old. She's done really, really well. We've had no issues with smoking. Just it's retained oil.
With the exception of getting things on the go.
Yes.
It's been spotless, hasn't it? So
no, it's been great. But obviously, you have to forgive the lack of organisation, I think is the word, because we started recording this weeks ago. And we've just been trying to get through bits while we've been on other jobs, then tried to face some issues, sort them out. Obviously, if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them below. Obviously, like I said, we are working very closely with Motorsport Electronics on finishing development on this, because I know there's been like some holes in the manual, for example, where I may have ground too many teeth off the trigger because it was poorly worded. So obviously we've worked together to fix that. Obviously now with all the issues we've faced that we've now ironed out and we know the fixes for, obviously if you want one of these installed in your Starlet, you can contact us and we'll do the whole procedure. Or we can send you the manual, you can do it yourself, it's your choice. But yeah, there will be plenty more to come, and hopefully a part 2 very soon. So middle of September, I think we'll be getting it back, won't we?
Yeah, I've booked it in for around that kind of time. So all being well, in theory, it's a little bit jiggery pokery and a bit of boost control, loving, and then sending it. So shouldn't hopefully be too much of an issue. But I say this with crossed fingers and gritted teeth, knowing that
sometimes
if it can go wrong, it will.
Yeah.
So that is just how it be.
Awesome.
Right, so I guess we'll catch up with this again in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, let's say if anyone's got any questions, obviously you can drop them below in the obviously in the comments under the video, or you can email us at info@autoculturetune.co.uk. Our social links will be in the description. Obviously, if you need anything, have any questions, we're always happy to help. But yeah, we'll call it there, and we'll see you in part 2.